Conquest of Elysium 5 is a turn-based strategy game where you don't actually control the battles, you just make the unit composition and try to figure out how to not die on turn 1. Because this game is very difficult. So, if you're playing a difficult game with turn-based strategy and such, you might ask, what faction should I play as? Well, don't worry. I played this game for 10 whole hours, and I will be able to tell you what little I know about these factions to help you decide. First off, the Bakemono. Do you like anime? Do you like yokai? Do you like oni? Do you want to have some samurai in your army? Do you want to summon a Tengu? Do you want to have a Hanya mask monster, which depicted as a snake in this one, which not really what they are, but do you want to have a, where is it? Oh, do you want to have all sorts of these, the anime waifu yokai guys? I could have sworn there was a Yuki-onna, but yeah, do you want them? Well, then you should play as the Bakemono. Next up, the Barbarian. Tell me, do you like being a necromancer without being a necromancer? Summoning the spirits of the dead while having a bunch of guys who probably eat rocks mostly as your main force? Do you like having, say, a bunch of Amazons hanging out with you? And, no, they aren't quite waifus. They're apparently an all-female race, except maybe there's, like, one male Amazon, sort of like the dwarves are all male, except for one female at their head. So, maybe you want to play as them if you want to be a bunch of, guys who beat people over the head and summon their ancestors to fight for them. Ah, the Baron! The Baron is the Imperial Guard faction. He's the guy who hires a bunch of normal people to fight monsters, and, sometimes also, I guess, gets in some other guys. Like, you can still recruit supernatural characters if you know what you're doing as him, but if you want to have a bunch of normal guys fighting the forces of... Oh, an alchemist! Nice! A bunch of normal guys, alchemists and court mage, fighting the forces of whoever is you're up against. He's your pick. Though I would love to see an all-Baron game where every faction is the Baron. Now, next up we have the Burgmeister. The Burgmeisters are, well, this is the Halfling faction. Do you want to have short people? You want to go and stab people in the kneecaps because you can't reach their chest? Until you stab them in the kneecaps and they collapse to the ground? You want to summon a bunch of wildlife and clockwork creatures? Do you like steampunk? With liking constructs? Having dragons that are constructs? As well as other animals? Well, I mean, if you like the animals, you'd probably pick another faction, but if you want some steampunk stuff, yeah, this is pretty good. Now, the Cloud Lord, I don't know much about these guys, aside from the fact that they live in the Sky Realm primarily, and have to go down to the main world. Like, they have all sorts of cloud folk and cloud summons. And, wait, cloud folk ladies? Occasionally look up and imagine faces that all have similarity in life's run away. Kings, barren, or in righteousness. Be over you see a cloud that owns the ground. Oh, well, I can't caress that. My hands would move right through it, so not really interested in the waifu factor. But hey, at least they have some cloud people, so yeah, I have no idea if you should play as this guy or not. Now, the Demonologist. The Demonologist summons the forces of hell at his command. They have a citadel, they do human sacrifice, they summon and bind demons, and every demon you can summon also exists in hell. Like, as in, there is a literal hell dimension you can go to where every demon exists, and as long as they're not killed in hell, they're immortal, and you can keep resummoning them. So, because of this, you can basically, well, I mean, just keep resummoning your army, and, yeah, like, though, yeah, so if you want to have a horde of demons and such, go ahead, go with this Demonologist guy. Ah, the Druid. The Druids are insane. They live in the woods and commune with animals. And after they commune with animals, they start going, yeah, we should destroy civilization. But the key thing about the druids is that while in gameplay they often just stick with animals when they're NPCs, you can get some really good stuff if you like bring them up eventually and get more powerful. Like the Horned God, monstrous boars, a rock, the flying type, not the other type, God of the Seasons, Thor, but Loki didn't fuck up his hammer making, another Horned God, a goddess, a sea god, war god. Yeah, you can basically summon a bunch of gods by just taking over a bunch of forests. So I highly recommend the druid, assuming that you're playing in a time period where there's a lot of forests. Deforestation heavily impacted the druid population and makes them far less viable in later periods. The Dryad Queen is a similar case to the druid, though to be fair, some of the guys we came over would be better off in later periods. But in the case of the Dryad Queen, in her case, she can upgrade various guys like her main infantry when she goes into cities. And then she can use them to, kill people. Wait, blood orgy? There's a fucking blood orgy ritual? God, I didn't encounter that when I played as her. I guess I just didn't use the ritual stuff enough. Very small sacrifice of a single villager. Many of the women, while in a static, known as Maenads, fight fiercely for the new master. And you can also get nymphs, satyrs. You can get Nemean lions, and even a forest goddess. Look, I'll be real here. Despite the fact that she wants to destroy all civilization like the druids, the Dryad is the best girl in the game. And maybe, with your love, you could convince her to not do it. Or maybe you can help her do it if that's what you want. I'm not judging. Yeah, so... basically... yeah, oh yeah, the Earth Mother. But yeah, so... yeah, Dryad... very good choice. Now, the Dwarf Queen. So, dwarves in this game are basically ants. And the Dwarf Queen gives birth to dwarves, all of whom are male, and like ants, except the breeders are female. But basically, you have all these different dwarves that the Dwarf Queen will give birth to. You can make new Dwarf Queens eventually. I don't know much about this faction, but if I remember right, the Dwarf Queen can't move, so you're going to want to have the more minor commanders do stuff, and get ready to have more of her brought to other places. Now, next up we have the Enchanter. The Enchanter is a construct-based guy, unlike the Halflings who are animal and construct. But as you can see, he can make a sword come to life and kill people for you, as well as have various golems. Honestly, I've never played against the Enchanter, so I'm not sure. Oh, a brass bull! That's a really cool torture device reference. Yeah, you should totally play as him. You can trap people inside your brazen bulls and set them on fire or something. Don't know how it works in the game. Now, moving on from the Enchanter, we have the Guildmaster. If you've seen Reggie's Conquest of Elysium videos, you know that this faction is incredibly broken and can just spam the world with assassins who kill everyone. But if you want a faction to play as for being completely broken, I would not recommend the Guildmaster. There is a more broken faction in the game. That being said, if you want another faction that can flood the place with assassins, build adventuring parties, and do all sorts of other stuff, I do recommend them. Now next up we have the Cthulhu Hulu faction. And while my depersonalization videos might have not brought as much publicity to the game as I hoped or got me the views that I hoped, I'm sure there are enough people who like the Cthulhu mythos that they'll appreciate this faction. Like, you get all sorts of things and can summon all sorts of monsters, including another of this game's best girls, the Basalt Princess. Oh, how I would love to dance with her under the moonlit night. And someday she might become an Angler Queen, or no, she upgrades to Basalt Queens. Nice. Now, anyway, you can also summon the actual Cthulhu gods. You have Hastur, not Cthulhu himself, but you have Hastur, Eldritch Abominations, Nyarlathotep, and Yog Sothoth find it a bit funny that Cthulhu doesn't seem summonable, though, while gods who are far more powerful than him are. Like, Hastur is the only one of these guys who's a great old one. The others are outer gods, and I think these are meant to represent Azathoth's courtiers. But in any case, we have the... Yeah, if you want to be a Cthulhu Hulu guy who drives everyone insane, these guys are perfect for you. Just be careful to make sure the stars are right, or you might end up very, very poor off. Now, the High Priestess. The High Priestess worships Baal, 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 Baal. Baal is some sort of evil god, like most of the gods in Elysium, who is appeased by human sacrifice, and you can even summon him to end the world or something. Yeah, like Baal has visited the world before. When he came, the moon turned blood red, and severe heat, drought, and famine struck the land. Giants walked the earth and feasted on the flesh of humans. It is not a good time, and since then people have prayed that Baal will not appear again. Oh. Yeah, so Baal's a complete ass, but this is also a faction that has Sumerian dragons, Sirushes. In my mind, don't play this game for Baal, play this for Sirush here. Summon a horde of Sirushes and do an all-Sirush playthrough. They are the best type of dragon, and I will brook no arguments. Oh, and nice, Scorpion Men. They appeared in the Epic of Gilgamesh. Haven't seen them in a strategy game since Age of Mythology. Oh, and, what's this? A passage where one can find the path to immortality? Does every necromancer walk that passage in this game, or is that an alternate way to immortality? Anyway, moving on, we have the Illusionist. So, the Illusionist goes around collecting mirrors, and then using them to create various illusion things. Yeah, he's apparently a powerful faction from what I've read online, but I have no idea how he works. That being said, if you want to summon a whole lot of illusions, or do an illusion thing, I guess you can play as him. Ah, the Kobold King. Okay, kobolds suck. They're small, weak, and pathetic creatures. But they can summon dragons, and then these dragons won't be under your control, but they will go around as sometimes and burn your enemies, or burn your enemies if they attack you, or freeze them, or do something else. But yeah, basically, this whole gameplay is about building up a horde of weak but numerous guys, and eventually summoning dragons to everywhere, and hoping that they finish off your enemies for you. Yeah, because I'm, like, let's see, root chance boost, calls fear giant. Oh yeah, like, see, they have the stupid property, which means that they don't follow orders, they do whatever they want. So, not exactly the most pleasant folk, but it'll do. Ah, the Markgraf. Tell me, did you want your hobbits to be edgelords? Did you want your hobbits to be necromancers? Well, then the Markgraf might be the faction for you, because the Markgraf is made up of necromancer hobbits. Not quite sure why you'd want that, but, I mean, yeah, like, basically, they're necromancers, but they're also hobbits, and, not sure what else to say about them. Moving on, we have the Monkey Maharaja. So, have you ever read Hindu mythology, like, the book with Rama? Well, the book with Rama involves the... okay, so there's a guy in the book of Rama, the Ramayana, called Hanuman, who is a very important Indian monkey god. And Hanuman has perfect self-control and rules over a kingdom of monkeys, and I'm pretty sure this is what these are based on. So you have, like, tiny monkeys, moderate-sized monkeys, and really large monkeys who have really large bows and swords and such. And also war elephants, as well as yogis who are like a Hindu thing. And then they can summon all sorts of creatures from Hindu mythology, up to and including gods. Or, yeah, like here we have Kali, Shiva, Parvati. Yeah, so if you want to, like, have a bunch of monkeys who practice Hinduism, then, oh, nice, Destroyer of Worlds spell. Anyway, if you want to have a bunch of monkeys who practice Hinduism, then that's the faction for you, especially if you're trying to recreate Hindu mythology by playing as a Hanuman. Since I think that's what these guys are based on, or I could be horribly mistaken. Anyway, the Necromancer. So this is the most powerful faction in the game. So powerful that it's often banned from competitive gameplay. So the Necromancer... Okay, raising dead drives you insane, which is why you have Necromancer's apprentices. You have them raise the undead, go insane from it, and then have the undead go to the Necromancer, who then commands them in battle. But now, here's the reason why they're overpowered. Because you can get the Demi-Lich ritual. The Demi-Lich is a Lich who turns himself into a head, and nothing else. Anyway, the Demi-Lich is a Lich who turns himself into a severed head and nothing else. And I always thought that concept was kind of stupid, because they basically can just sit around and do nothing. But in Conquest of Elysium, they are stupidly overpowered. Because as the Demi-Lich, your Necromancer will proceed to teleport while around the place while summoning an infinite army of undead. If enemies actually get close to him through the undead, he'll blast them with magic and then keep summoning. In the end, the enemies will either be destroyed by his magic or just worn down. It's like when you have the Demi-Lich, you could probably win the entire game with just it. That's how powerful it is. And if you have multiple Necromancers, you could get that. Oh, Raven Spy. That's going to become very relevant in a later video, but... in any case, we also have this Bible bird. Yeah, a rock that died and reanimated. Yeah, so... there you... Oh, I didn't know you had Unfrozen Lords, Mages. Oh, nice. That's really cool. But yeah, like, so if you want to be completely overpowered, play as the Necromancer and become a Demi-Lich. Now, after the Necromancer, we have the Pale Ones. The Pale Ones are cave creatures living underground. Yeah, and they have, like, one King of the Deep. That's the only one you can ever have. They have guys throwing rocks. They're basically meant to be a slow, immovable wall in terms of their combat. Just moving in close to the enemy and crushing them with their sheer mass. That being said, they are disgusting cave creatures, so if you're into that, then I guess you can play as them. Or if you like the idea of having like a small and moving wall slowly grinding your enemies to powder. But I think that the disgusting cave creature is going to appeal to people more. Next up, we have the Priest King. So, the Priest King is the Aztec faction. They summon Aztec guys like Jaguar warriors, though I'm pretty sure the rest of these aren't Aztec related other than vague themed. And they commit human sacrifice, which allows them to summon creatures like jaguars with wings, and giant macaws, coatls, and of course, gods. Here we have Chak, who is a rain god. We have this guy, don't know what he's the god of. We have Tlaloc, don't know what he's the god of. We have these guys, various Teotl gods. Yeah, so this is another faction that can summon gods, only in this case it's Aztec gods instead of Hindu gods. So if you like the idea of committing human sacrifice, getting a bunch of slaves, and summoning gods, sure, why not? Wait, what's this? Ah, blood-sucking demon witch that attacks infants. Like all witches, come to their power in puberty. No new means of realization. Possible that, like other witches, they are corrupt in puberty, not inherently depraved. They are, not inherently depraved, but corrupt at puberty. Being witches, they respond well to dunking in water and trial by fire. Change shape, difficult to capture, and yeah, you can summon this. Now, next up, we have the Rakshasa Raja. Or Raksharaja, blah, blah. Yeah, so these are basically the Monkey Maharaja, but evil. They serve the demons, and while they have the same basic units as the Monkey Maharaja, they have other guys who are possessed. They have Rakshasa. They have more of these guys, so yeah, if you want to play as the bad guys from Hindu mythology, up to Ashura, who are basically the Hindu equivalent of Jotnar in and of that they're anti-gods. But anyway, if you want to play as the bad guys in Hindu mythology, except you're, guess, traitors to Hanuman or something, or slaves to the evil guys, play as these guys. Now, next up, we have the Scourge Lord. Tell me, do you like deserts? Do you wish the entire planet was a massive desert? If so, the Scourge Lord is the faction for you. With him, he can turn the entire planet into a desert. I don't know why you'd want to do that. But if you really like deserts and are the biggest desert fan in the world, Scourge Lord. Now, the Senator is the Roman faction. Basically, they are the, they're Roman Republic themed rather than Roman Empire, or rather, I suppose it would be better to say that they're sort of a mixture of things from that, because, like, the Praetorian Guard was an Empire thing, from what I understand, whereas Hastati, Principes, Triarii, and Velites are more early to mid-Republic thing, while Centurions here are late Republic into the Empire. Yeah, this is mostly Roman Republic themed, though, since you're playing as a senator, recruiting some guys, and, yeah, like, you can eventually turn into a god emperor. So if you want to be a god emperor, or just really like Rome, go ahead and play as the senator. Now, next up, we have the Troll King. So, the Troll King... So, you start off with the Troll King and his mother, who... Well, actually, you start off with the Troll King, and you eventually get his mother, and these are unique units that you can't get more of if they die, so you have to be careful. That being said, you can get a horde of really big, strong units backed up by goblins, who are basically kobolds, but without the dragons, I think. Haven't played as the trolls before. You can also get Gramps, and, well, yeah, basically you can corrupt swamps, be trolls, and, yeah, I don't know much else about them. The Voice of El. So, the Voice of El are basically batshit insane religious fanatics worshipping an evil god, and they can unleash the apocalypse. Sort of like Baal. But the difference is, the Voice of El collects tithes from the villages that they take over and convert. And eventually, so if you want to play as the guys who can start the apocalypse, want to do Crusader stuff, or create guys or use Angel Army, I mean, there's lots of reasons to play as these guys. They're a pretty good faction. Now, moving on to the Warlock. Haven't played this guy yet or seen him, but I do intend to play as him eventually, and from what I understand, Warlocks are spellcasters who make a connection to one of the elemental planes, giving them elemental magic. And they get lots of cool summons and stuff, and, yeah, if you want to play as a bunch of wizards summoning all sorts of things, and... Oh, hold on a second. Queen of the Sea? Oh, Queen of the Lake? Looks like we have another waifu. So yeah, faction, 10 out of 10. Yeah, like, play as these guys, I guess. Oh, you can get Yetis, too. That's awesome. And finally, we have the Witch. The Witch's faction is about wandering through swamps, collecting mushrooms, then summoning creatures, failing to control them like 25% of the time, and then getting attacked by them, having to put them down, and then just summoning more because that's how you get your best units. This is a very strong faction if you can get the unit pool going, because eventually you'll summon enough that not much can do much for you, against you. That being said, be careful, or you'll get eaten by your own summons. Thank you for watching, everyone, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe.